Okay, so without any delay, I will start my topic first, and then we'll follow. We have a really excellent speakers lineup today. Okay, so I will share my screen first. So I assume that you can see my screen, right? So let me make this as a full screen first. Okay, so we have 8 speakers, including me. I'm going to also talk about something, and then I moderate other speakers' session, but most of the session will be independent. So speakers will present talk and Q&A session, and additional session can be going on, and you can go ahead when the speaker session ends, and then you can use your chat, and then you can particularly ask some specific speakers about the question. And then at the end, we'll have optional like a Q&A discussion. This will be the free talk style. So you can raise a question or answer or a discussion or the whatever you can specify some speakers, or you can give your comment or something like that. So we'll have this kind of schedule that I already share you. So I want to share look at the chat. And then I already shared the schedule and the speakers and speaker details. Okay, so I will start my session first. Okay, so I just get what would be the best way to show. So NFT is like an enabler of monetization. So NFT monetization, I'm going to overview. Yeah. And see that first to make money, actually they should deliver value, right? So what is the value, and then how you can develop. So I just summarized that I don't want to go over. I'm going to share this presentation. I mean, some I already shared it. And then, so scarcity is the most fundamental you have seen in all the like artwork, collectors, PFP, whatever, whether it's rare features or characteristics, or sometimes you can control NFT supply and demand. And then, and mostly, this is very important factors that initiate like NFT has a high premium, like monetization. You can heard a lot of the media focus because of their brand, celebrity, community support, the fandoms, reputation, popularity. So it's kind of the scarcity. And also like another thing recently focused is utility. Utility is another thing, not just for the like artwork, whatever. They actually deliver some utility. And then you can see the like some specific functionalities, like for example, VIP membership, access card, passport to some community. You can heard about this kind of case, like go to sports event or some music event. They provide the NFT as a passport, and then also like a functionality, what kind of special functionality, also like applicability. Like you mean a lot of the application, especially recently in relation to like metaverse. So in the metaverse, gaming, fashion, retail, sports, finance, and all the industry, you can apply NFT as some utilities. And also the sustainability. They can be like a good, like a better way to serve community, environment, or society, human, or whatever, and economics based on sustainability. And technical features. So recently there are not just for the like traditional like type of the like, for example, you know about the ERC 721 type of standard form of the smart contract supported. There are a lot of the different ways actually that they can have like features, dynamic, consumable, composable, and the interoperability issues that actually that kind of the utility you can provide it. And then also important thing is how you can be like in the Web3, how can you make is your community as an economic system. So we call like a sustainable tokenomics, token economics. So tokenomics give you the like NFT, usually NFT is illiquid, but they will give you liquidity. and then it will give you the more increase like economic values. So you understand that what actually the driver value, and then how you can develop the value. And then also to provide to offer, like, for example, value for position and to make money, actually you need to ask about the price, right? So that actually the buyers or the investors should know about what actually the value, the monetary value actually you are investing or you are buying. And then NFT valuation is very hard. And the reason is that I explained here that I think that the most important thing is that the NFT is not mature yet. So we are still experimenting in many ways. So usually that the terminology you understand is that there are a lot of the like open seas, the open market space. So there is you can find some price. Actually, usually the price is done in the marketplace is like a Dutch auctions or something like the auction style. But the floor price is the lowest risk selling price. So you can like a baseline price will be what it be looking at it, and then you can elaborate it. And the market approach is usually the preferred in general, but it's very rare in the NFT. But some sophisticated like digital collectibles, artwork, PFP, or something like that, and then you can evaluate based on recent comparable similar as security transaction price on NFT market price. So this is the one available for the digital like collectibles, artwork, NFT. You can do market approach. But otherwise, in general, if you want to apply like a fashion, music, or real estate, whatever, still market approach is not the relevance data is available, so it will be a hard topic. And income approach is another one you can think about is what is like a future like income potential that NFT can generate through the like sales or the licensing. So this is one, but some particular like NFT representing some particular industry or some particular asset can be available like IP license for music, but others still have some difficulties. And predictions is a kind of the recently there was a trend that the historical data usually like with digital collectibles artwork provided some historical data. So you can do it. This is if you are in AI machine learning, you know about that there is a predictability. The machine learning can predict based on historical data. So there is some like startups explore this space. And another thing is like expert view. So for example, artwork. If you are in the artwork, you have a long-term experience in the like sell or buying this artwork, then you'll be the better in position to tell what the price of the artwork will looks like. So there is a lot of the expert over there. Usually you can have the expert views through the crowdsourcing information or something like that. And then you provide some incentive of doing that. Okay, so and in how you can actually monetize NFT. So NFT is through the like sales or some kind of licensing or the financing or something like that. So sales are most familiar. So you can directly sell or in the secondary sale like in the open marketplace. So this is well known. But here is one thing you have in mind that the smart contract in usually the open marketplace, like a sales term, actually the NFT sale do not mean ownership transfer. So underlying like a physical digital asset is not, so NFT is just representing this underlying asset, whether physical or not digital, not this ownership itself. So you should be careful about you want to transfer, or you need to be really careful about what actually you buy, right? Because you need to be very careful that whether what kind of ownership, what kind of right you use, or what kind of ownership actually you buy or you transfer. This is the one that we will hear from we have expert for this field, so we'll have an opportunity to hear about this aspect. And the licensing is a royalty. Usually some of the NFT underlying asset, for example, music is kind of the good example that underlying asset represented by this NFT has their own like intellectual property right, copyright, or the trademark or pattern or the design or something like that. So this kind of monetization engine that actually you can have a revenue streams for licensing. And the financing is another one. You can monetize through the in advance people sell in the market. You can finance through the investors. And then one thing is because NFT representing a value of the asset. So they can be this value asset can be pooled and then make a security like your stock. So there is a securitization. So you can make this a securitization. And then this kind of processing of the securitization in the physical world is very complex. And then so you can because it's a securitization through the NFT, then we can tokenize the securities you have it. So your security buy this full, and then you make it tokenized by the NFT. And then this tokenized NFT you can utilize is a well-known NFT plus DeFi. So you can money market or the other type of for example, providing liquidity pool or something like that. You can combine them as a leveraging of the NFT and the DeFi to financing to have an engine for the monetization. And this is the one actually that I recently found that I summarize a lot of books I actually read, and I think that if it's good, then I summarize. And I read hundreds articles, and especially the full books. Maybe I read more than 10 books, but this is the one book actually that I found the most valuable. I think this is around intermediary level, not for the expert like you, but is for general. You can review and then how Metaverse and Web3 are related to NFT, and then actually how many NFT can be linked to your monetization, something like that. So and then they also explain about what NFT can be construed through your business model, something like that. So I recommend you that read this book. And then finally, I will introduce some specific project I'm involved. This is the FAME Universities. I'm an advisor and chief evangelist, and then I have them to developing the business model and the platform and many things. And then recently I work with this for the fashion NFT monetization platform. So the fashion is one of the very specific field actually. You can see it recently a lot of the media focus like a Nike or the a luxury brand or something like that. And actually they monetize their fashion brand, or for example a Metaverse fashion or something like that. So this is one actually that I'm working on it, and then I focus on this monetization issue. So in the fashion area, actually the biggest issue is not fully explored monetization potential, especially this kind of the fashion metaverse. Even if you have a lot of media focus, Vogue or the Fortune or the Forbes express about, or the doing like a digital fashion show or whatever, but actually it is still niche, and then only focus on small focused group. And then general consumers are not actually reach this state. So you need to be more scale. This is the task you need to think about it. Another thing is usually the beauty of the digital or metaverse fashion is that I'm also an attorney. I'm a New York City attorney. So in the legally that usually you have some art or some if you think you can think about fashion is a creative work, so it can be protected by something. But actually, unfortunately, that usually in the United States, actually the fashion garments clothes can be usually considered as a essential part of your living, right? So the government actually don't want to give an exclusive right. If you do that, actually it'll be make the consumers make harder to find out the good clothes, right? So usually the copyright law is not much protectable. So and then you need to deliberately apply for the patent application, design application, the copyrights. But in the digital world, it's different. And the digital world is that if you have a same fashion design garment, but actually you digitalize it, And then you know that if you are in the fashion space, like 3D Crow or some other like digitalization tools can make your digital fashion. And then it can be protected if you have a certain type of the like credibility. So it even not apply for like a US like a copyright office, the copyright, it will be automatically protected by the copyright law. And so means that if you mint some of the fashion garment that use into your metaverse world, actually even you are not insisted that you have a copyright, you already have a copyright underlining. So whenever you have NFT based on this like a digital like a fashion world, they will have underlying copyright. It can be utilized as monetization, also like in the smart contract you should be provided. And the financing, and then I also mentioned that the difficulty with the fashion is that the valuation or something like that is very difficult because not much the marketplace that the opportunity you maybe not much seen in the like open sell like your like a fashion metaverse fashion or something like that. They only sell through the some specific their proprietary marketplace or something like that. So its a valuation is very hard to, and then the asset type is very difficult. I'm not going to detail, but so I'm working with this kind of problem with the fashion in type in famous startup in South Korea. So I am looking at how they build like a community, like we call like a sustainable like a fashion ecosystem. So and then especially if this through this ecosystem, we are developing like how actually can monetize this fashion. So we actually recently I filed a patent for that, and then and we developed like a platform that actually how can actually maximize and resolve many challenges, and then monetization, and then finally sustainable like a build up to like a token economic build up to develop this community, and then also as I'm an attorney, so resolve many legal issues, and then also like to develop the specific valuation method for this kind of thing. So you can apply for this kind of scheme for whether you're interested in underlying assets, real estate, or is a music, whatever is whatever that asset, you can apply the general scheme based on your like a particularly specific field. So for this kind of topic, actually, that I organize another meeting is like a webinar. So I'm going to specifically the more advanced level that how you can securitization and DeFi convergence can be utilized this. Okay, so I done my part. Okay, so without any delay, because I admit more people to hear. Okay, so Mohammed, it's time for you. So actually, we like some 10 minutes. In some is the not following the schedule, but you can spend your whole 50 minutes. So you can start now.
All right, greeting everyone. I will start to introduce myself. I believe my LinkedIn account is not the most active one. It's just created recently in the last 2 months, like testing the Web3 opportunities available. Anyway, I'm Muhammad. I'm from Sudan. I'm a bachelor degree holder on electronics. Spend sometimes on building the mobile network infrastructure before I switched to banking sector. Spent the last 8 years on like world leading leading bank on the UAE, between various positions, started from operation, customer service, sales, direct communication with my customers, selling banks products. On March 2020, just right after the Corona pandemic, announcement of WHO that the global pandemic, I guess this is how I stepped into the space. It was started from investment decision that I made. I started to invest on Bitcoin. It was it was a like great decision, but the more important decision I made is invest my time as well. Like from like 2.5 years, I'm like I have this dedication toward the blockchain technology, and more I know about it, and more I get involved. This is how I started. Yes, it's fascinating that maybe because I've been driven because of like my nationality is like it's been sanctioning, and we have a lot of problems. Maybe this the limitation of the like the access of the fair financial services. This has driven me to this decentralized world. I started to see the value really, and creating wealth and knowledge at the same time. Been trying to all these DeFi platforms. Like was really like rewarding at the same time. I'm growing not only financially, but at a personal level. That a lot of skills that I have developed, been searching and researching, investing on the VC's work, investing on early stages projects. This has rewarded me a lot, and I keep like learning myself, and like late 2020, I have this like different feeling that this is something bigger than I expect. This is not some trading or investment kind of environment. I started to get to see the bigger picture. I started to feel the paradigm shift, and the emerging of a new business model is being born. I start to engage deeply on DAOs, spending a lot of time Discord, learning myself. This is yeah, this is my entry on the space. I think, in my opinion, the NFT, it's the heart of this new module business model, because the new business model is all about ownership. It's all about ownership, and NFTs is pursue this pursue the ownership of the digital assets. We are talking about Web3. It's all started the decentralization revolution started with the white page of Bitcoin. We move, things is getting accelerating with the smart contract and NFT involvement. Today, I'm going to focus, bring some value on this, maybe like how exactly I'm focusing on the evolution of the NFT itself, and how we can get into the next phase. Speaking of the metaverse, how we gonna achieve the really true decentralized metaverse. I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna show one very interesting project. This project, I'm not a part of this project. I'm not doing any promotion, but I do see a real true value on this project. This is it's called Remark. Remark are creating a new NFT standard. With this standard, this is the only standard that can allow the true decentralized metaverse. This standard has 5 standalone standards, which is building building the standard itself. It doesn't have to work all together. It's standalone. You can use one standard without the other. The first standard, they call it the Legos, the nested NFT, that an NFT can own by other NFT equivalent. The second one, this is really interesting, the multi-resources NFT, where you can have multi-resources on the single NFT, such as you can get, for example, a book. You can get the PDF resource. You can get MP3. You can get MP4, etc. This resource also, it's very important, has like a different use case. That NFT, it's a link to a digital assets. So for the current shape of the metaverse that we see, they are simply replacing, for example, NFT, a gaming metaverse. The gaming or the company, they are just replacing the username on the website and allow you to log in with your NFT. This is not truly decentralized, and the game itself. It's on the server of the studio of the game, and you are not really using the NFT itself. You are just using it for logging, and your NFT is not involved on the game itself. The multi-resources, this can also boost the metaverse, especially in gaming. It's offered that you can, the metadata of the game itself can be stored on the multiple server. I can put a source of IPFS. I can put on my centralized server. This will reduce the risk of losing the data itself. This also can give a guarantees for the participant. So it's artist or gamer. It will not lose the experience itself. For example, if you have a metaverse of fashion designer, for example, and for some competition or one prize was for the best design of the year was presented for John, for example. If for somehow the server crash or the company, anything happened to this metaverse and it's closed, the designer itself will not lose the experience of having this. It will be built on his NFT itself. The multi-resources, so this is will give a backup option for the metadata itself. Again, also there is here the emotes, on-chain emotes, that the NFT can be interactable. You can place emoji, conditional rendering. This is also very interesting, that the NFT itself, it will react based on the interaction that it's received. For example, the NFT just got a smiley face, a number of a smiley face. It's a logic. You can put a logic on this NFT. So it with more 50 emoji of smile face, your character can be smiling, or any logic you deploy. And the last thing is the NFTs as a DAO, that this standard will allow the NFT to be fractionalized and tokenize the community for government purposes. This is, I think, with this we can achieve the decentralized metaverse. The current shape of metaverse is not centralized, and creators, musicians, artists, the only the only tools that will guarantee for them to capture their true value is the decentralization. This is, I think, where is the future is going. Thank you. I think this is all for me.
Thank you, Mohammed.
I have any question? I'm
Yeah,
ready to answer.
yeah.
Maybe yes.
Is there any question to him? If you have a any question, then you can, after his session, you can ask your question in chat, so you can keep.
I have a question, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know this project, and it's actually great. Hello, everyone. First of all, I mean, I don't know if you know it, but are those all already developed, or they're under development?
They already, no, they developed it already. Let me show you some of their work. They are their metaverse. They are building their metaverse. They are launching on this the first quarter of Q1 2023.
Got it.
This is the metaverse itself. But they have also products. They have two products. They have this Canaria. This is their premium collection of birds, like almost 9,000 birds or something. And it's all equipable items. I'll show you on my. It's built on Kusama network and the testnet, the Canary Canary network of the Polkadot.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very interesting. I want to look at detail. I'm very curious about. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you for your insight about what will be in the future of the NFTs. Okay, so next will be Nova. Nova, are you there?
Still want to see the?
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can out from your screen sharing.
I don't know why it's loading. Okay.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hi, Nova. Yeah, she's fascinating. Actually, we just talk each other. Yeah, very recently about her fascinating NFT project in related fashions and an astro digital, something like that. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, without any delays, it's hold your time, so you can spend 15 minutes to present, talk, Q&A, whatever you want.
So this one NFT.
Camera on.
Here I can see that it's including 1, 2, 3, like 8 NFT on the same NFT itself.
Okay, got it.
All right. Okay. So the whole metaverse will be built on top of each other, like NFT. So you have the land, for example. You have your character. It's all together on one NFT. So there is zero chance that you will lose the experience. These gems, it's non-transferable NFT. This is soul-bound NFT. Mm-hmm. It's also built on this. I can equip and unequip. It's amazing.
Okay, thank you for additional exploration. Okay, so Mohammed, why don't you out from this screen sharing so Nova can start?
You need to, you can share, or
no, you can. Yeah, you can out from, you can stop sharing this one, and then Nova can start now. Okay, so Nova, it's time for you. Oh, you are mute.
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Great to be listening and talking about NFTs. Thank you so much, Alex. It's a pleasure to support you on any of your events. Again, I'm Nova Lorraine. I'm an advisor and strategist in the Web3 space. A little about my background. I did not grow up in tech, like maybe a lot of our Web3ers these days. I actually started my journey pursuing a PhD in clinical psychology. So yes, big pivot. During that journey, I went on to study fashion design at FIT in New York. That's the Fashion Institute of Technology. And about 5 years into that journey, which was a whirlwind and amazing, winning awards and being featured in my favorite publication, Italian Vogue, and getting on The View and all these wonderful things, I wanted to give back to the creative community. And so I launched Rain Magazine, which is a media platform that focuses on the future of fashion, culture, and technology. So this is the 15th year of making it rain. That's what I like to say. But we're about providing a platform for rising names and brands in the space. So it's no surprise that I came across Bitcoin in 2013. And with literally trying to mine it then, unsuccessfully, because couldn't get my hands on the right equipment. But 2017, seeing the transformation of Bitcoin to what it became, I decided I wasn't going to miss the train twice. And so did a bunch of research, came across Ethereum, became an investor in Ethereum back in 2017. And then in 2020, January 2020, dived into the rabbit hole of white papers and protocols because I decided to day trade. And as a day trader, you have to know what you are investing in. You lose your pants. So, but that was amazing because as I read the white papers, as I learned the semantics, I realized that we are on a paradigm shift, as Mohammed had shared earlier. And these protocols were the building blocks of this new frontier that we're entering into, you know, from XLM, you know, to many others, XDC and so many others. And so I decided that I wanted to educate others in the space, especially creatives and individuals that, you know, may have had not as much time to dive in as I was diving in. So I launched My Cryptocurrency Chronicles, the podcast, and it's ranked in several countries on Apple iTunes, and started the speaking circuit and advising and really pivoting from advising in the Web2 space, which I have been doing for the last 2 decades with founders and city governments and tech companies and art companies, decided to turn my attention to Web3. And so in the spring of 2022, I decided to launch my own project as a creator and builder because I thought it was really important to have the perspective from the ground up as opposed from the outside bubble looking in, and really understanding what are the pain points of creators and what are those missing elements, and you know, how can we solve some of the problems that became so much clearer to me as a creator in the space. And so I launched NFT, the Raindrops NFT Art House, with an NFT collection that's based on storytelling. And we just heard about the evolution of NFTs, and I believe we're just scratching the surface. And so I, as a writer and storyteller, I wanted to see how can you innovate with stories. And so I introduced a story through the main character, and where the NFTs are tied to the characters, they're tied to the world, they're tied to experiences within the world. And then that journey led me in building a really wonderful Web3 community. So here I am doing a lot of speaking events because I'm super passionate about education and awareness and letting everyone know the train is here. And today I'm going to be talking about fashion. You know, as I mentioned, I pivoted to fashion many moons ago. I am still super passionate about fashion. Back in June, I was invited to apply to be a part of an accelerator that NASA Technology and Virginia Tech had partnered together. And so I just finished that accelerator. And as Alex mentioned, there's some really cool things that I'm doing with NFTs and data and AR and AI. But I'm going to go into a little more detail on why we should care about the metaverse and NFTs and how it's going to collide with the future of fashion. So I'm going to put up a presentation real quick and walk you through. And I'm just going to take the assumption that a lot of us here are beginner to intermediate. So bear with me if some of these terms seem to be very common to you. You just never know who's joining. So let me go ahead and share. Here we go. Can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about making money with NFTs and the metaverse. Let's go. All right. So it's basic, definition of the metaverse. My opinion, it's really just the next iteration of the internet. And I know there's a lot of various definitions of what the metaverse is, and thanks to Facebook, a lot of confusion of what the metaverse is. But we know there's different iterations, where you need headsets and those worlds where you do not. But when we look at the mid-90s and the introduction of the World Wide Web and how it's evolved to date, this is the next phase. 3D virtual environments that are immersive, that will include many tools such as augmented reality, artificial intelligence, voice technology, and blockchain. So why should we care? On the conservative side, the metaverse is estimated to make 1.3 trillion. Now we're talking the T's, guys, the big T's, in just a few years. We're already at 2022, and this is on the conservative side. You're going to see most reports saying $13 trillion by 2030. So what is the makeup and component of this? And we see here it's anywhere from events to creators to hardware to social commerce. We have advertising as well. And so there are a lot of opportunities within every industry as it relates to the next iteration of the internet. And worlds, we talked, we said there's a lot of confusion around what is a metaverse? Some people say metaverse sci. I like to call it the multi-meta universe. You have currently the current iterations. We have both decentralized and centralized worlds, where most of you have heard of Roblox, Decentraland. I'm leading a new world called Lore. There's Fortnite, there's Sandbox. There are ecosystems such as Fame that are tying into the metaverse as well, Fame Universe. So we're going to see many iterations, both on the decentralized side and the centralized side. And what's so interesting is that 72% of consumers have already entered a virtual world in the last 12 months. And when we're talking about NFTs and monetization, we're looking at virtual land selling between $6,000 and $100,000. And it's expected to double in just a few months. And so, when we're looking at NFTs and monetization, how does that tie in to the metaverse and the world and the lands and the real estate? And so we're diving deeper here on fashion and the opportunity of fashion. And we've seen many iterations of how this has presented itself in the metaverse space, from gaming to digital assets to e-commerce and digital experiences. Gamings, we see NFTs being used to access certain experiences and rewards. We have digital ownership as well within gaming. And also when you are accumulating a certain amount of points, you can earn NFTs. So again, when you're thinking of fashion, it's not just going to be on the commerce side. We see gaming as a really exciting area that's continuing to grow. And it's been around for a while, Second Life and Sims, it's been around, but it's interesting to see how it's evolving on top of the blockchain. So digital assets, I had mentioned land, and what does that have to do with fashion? Well, when you think of fashion real estate, you think of storefronts, you think of malls, you think of outdoor retailers. And so, again, this could be applied to almost any industry, but what can you do as it relates to digital asset ownership and fashion real estate? Maybe you are the world builder. Maybe you are building the infrastructures that are sitting on top of the world. And each of those things are being monetized through NFTs. Maybe you are creating the actual fashion garments that are going to live on your avatars or just live in a virtual closet. And as it relates to e-commerce, instead of doing traditional transactions on fiat, you have the authentication through NFTs. And how is that going to really move e-commerce forward? And, we have 3D models, we have videos, we have music, we have We have images, imagery, photography, all now being able to be put on the blockchain for ownership. How do you tie that into e-commerce? You know, as a fashion brand, Tommy Hilfiger, you could take your video of your fashion show, mint that as an NFT, and sell that in addition to the cool jackets or shoes or sneakers that you're selling. So again, it's really opening up your mind to, you know, how you can blend these different assets. You know, we know an NFT could be anything that could be made in as a digital file. So from storytelling to poetry to art to photography to videos, music, you know, there's really cool music soundtracks that are created behind, you know, during a fashion show. Again, you as a DJ, you can now make money by creating that soundtrack from the, you know, Fairwing fashion show or the Gucci fashion show as an NFT. Again, there's no limits here. And phygital experiences, tying the physical event or the physical product to the digital product and using it for on-demand and or unlocking the ability to purchase an item or the ability to access different experiences associated with that item. So again, your NFT could be the digital representation of the physical product and or the digital access to the physical product. So just a few case studies here. We have, oh, okay, my computer literally is doing its own thing, guys. It's literally doing its own thing.
Automatic.
I was like, slow down. Okay, so some case studies. Louis Vuitton entered the game in 2019, right? So, you know, we have to pay attention. I love the presentation before about the future of NFTs and all these really cool things that are coming down the pike. You know, we have to pay attention to not only what's happening now, but what's coming in the future, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, because the space is moving so quickly. You know, what's relevant now may not be relevant in 12 months. So keeping in mind the evolution in these new use cases and starting now, you know, doing what Louis Vuitton did in 2019, Gucci did in 2021, where a lot of companies are just now pivoting to incorporating fashion within their business models. So why fashion? Why the hype? Is it just hype? Is it real? It's absolutely real. We're talking in the trillions with the metaverse, 1 trillion with metaverse market size on the conservative end. We're seeing 1.5 trillion with the global apparel market size. And when you boil that down, you have 100 million avatars that are expected to be in play in 3 years, guys, 3 years. 50% of consumers wanting to purchase a digital asset. So there is a huge consumer base that want to own these digital assets, and they can be in the form of NFTs. We're looking at 10 to 15% of our wardrobe being replaced by digital fashion, which seems still a little crazy. I'm in the fashion industry, but between gaming and our avatars and digital commerce, we're going to see not only the digital assets, but the NFT versions being a bigger part of our everyday lives and really tying into, you know, how we express ourselves, which I'll get into in just a few minutes. I'm going to speed through this because I know I'm running short on time. So again, we have, as it relates to NFTs, being in the form of digital assets. And one of the things that intrigues me is beauty. You know, you're thinking NFTs, digital music you can listen to, but what are you going to do with beauty NFTs? And that area is exploding, the hair industry, beauty industry, that most people aren't paying attention to. We've seen the art as a use case. We've seen communities such as Bored Apes as a use case for NFTs, but there's so much more. And then when you tie community and membership to fashion, right? May it be around a brand, may it be around a collective of brands, may it be around a collective of, in a category. If you're an outdoor person, you have an NFT where you get discounts on an array of outdoor fashion apparel. I mean, the use cases are endless here. I touched on expression. This is going to be a conversation term you're going to hear come up over and over again, how we can more easily express ourselves, you know, and have ownership and play the game and use this expression for not only our psychological well-being, but empowerment as it relates to ownership when we have these NFTs. I touched on commerce a little bit, but sustainability is a big part of the play that the NFTs are going to have as it relates to commerce, on-demand production, trend forecasting with NFTs. Trend forecasting companies make a lot of money. And if they decided to release the reports in the form of NFTs, that's powerful, especially if it's tied to actual data as it relates to consumers purchasing X number of NFTs. Then they know what percentage of that will be demanded to go into the physical form, and then using that trend and selling that as an NFT to fashion brands. Avatars are going to be a huge, huge play. We say 100 million in just a few years. Everything from hair to makeup to clothing to accessories to the actual avatar, your digital twins, your alter egos, all going from just digital assets to being on a smart contract where you can trade, use it for DeFi, gaming, so many things. Again, my slideshow is, again, doing its own thing. But anyway, the last slide was just what's the future? And we see production and sustainability being a huge part of how NFTs are going to make a great impact in the space, and how we can use those NFTs to monetize within that sustainability arena. We have our digital expression in the form of avatars and ownership, may it be land, may it be real estate, may it be physical real estate structures, may it be clothing and items or products that go in your homes, in your offices, on your body. We have memberships and community. We have experiences that aren't just limited to 3D environments, but augmented reality experiences where you can use these NFTs to unlock certain rewards and experiences. And again, this is just within the fashion realm. New York Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, these are very inaccessible to a lot of people. But with an NFT, now you have a front row seat. So again, lots of opportunity here, and I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm Nova Lorraine, happy to answer any questions. I'm on LinkedIn, and I think I have 1 minute.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I like this your presentation. Yeah, very clearly explain about what is metaverse and how the NFT can monetize through the metaverse, and what if the future of the fashion NFT or something like that. I really appreciate your very, very clear explanation. Thank you, Nova.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if you have any question, you can keep on in the chat. Okay. So I will go over next. Bandana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Hi.
Yeah, here actually we have something different aspect, like a legal aspect, especially the intellectual property line. So I'm also New York State attorney. So I'm also interested in the legal matters, NFT, and especially I also in law school I major in intellectual property law as my subject. So I welcome that Andina here will talk about NFT IP license, what is a monetizing opportunity and legal challenges. So 15 minutes all for you. You can start now.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. So yes, I'm Vandana Taksali. I'm the founder of Artcryption. I'm an IP lawyer and arts and entertainment lawyer, and I'm happy to discuss some IP monetization opportunities. So, as we've been talking about, blockchain, AI, immersive technology really has the ability to impact, creators, retailers, brands, and viewers, audiences, fans, and NFTs have, can really be leveraged by, different film companies, different brands, creators to really bring additional revenue. And that's what I see as being, a huge advantage of NFTs is just this additional revenue monetization streams, along with building those communities and having engagement in a more meaningful way. We've always known the importance of having community, but community takes on a different definition in Web3 with, virtual goods and services being available. So, we're going to see IP monetized in different ways, whether it's through merchandising, ticketing, gaming, rewards, promotions, and just regular digital content, whether it be film, art, or music. So why, NFTs? Well, basically, creators, musicians, film, video, content creators have often had to deal with issues of, distribution, monetizing, protecting their content whenever it's online. And now with NFTs, smart contracts, artists, creators, film producers can now share, protect, and monetize with proper attribution and copyright protection, prove their ownership and authenticity, and build these new revenue streams from their IP. And it's these new digital business models that help with copyright protection, managing clearances through smart contracts, transparent distribution and licensing, all on the blockchain, and really creating these additional monetization streams. And so there's new channels for audiences, distributors, and brands to experience content in a new way. And that's what brings on the additional monetization. So what is an NFT? It's a non-fungible token, a unique digital representation of a virtual, physical, or digital asset, but also it can be an intellectual property right. And it's recorded on the blockchain to help prove ownership and authenticity. NFTs are unique, one of a kind, irreplaceable, stored on the blockchain, and they provide value for consumers. So let's look at the different types of NFTs to get an idea of really across the board. And I think the previous speaker touched on this as well, but it's not just artwork, but it can be a film or video moment, sports memorabilia, a game asset, virtual land, memes, domain names, tweets, music, literary, physical real estate. Now we're seeing this list a lot, but there's more to this list than just what we see here. It can be any type of IP right. It can be a patent, a trademark, recording first use. It can be a copyright work. It can be a document. Pretty much anything that's unique can be a type of NFT. And these are some of the early projects, which I'm going to skim through because we don't have a lot of time. But this is sort of how it all started. And I think a lot of these projects, just everyone got really interested because of the uniqueness and the one of a kind. And that's what really created the value and the scarcity around them. And then being able to sell them in the metaverse. So these are some of the earlier metaverse on the blockchain. Metaverse has been around way before all this, of course, but it's really the blockchain aspect of it that gives it that value again, and it becomes addictive. I've purchased lands in all these spaces and go there quite a bit, and it's quite addictive, and you can get really immersed. So we know, what is an NFT? It's, what's fungible and non-fungible. So it's the non-fungible aspect that makes it unique and one of a kind, and irreplaceable. And so different ways that, we see different types of NFTs, it's not just art, IP, but the gaming assets, the music, film, fashion, sports, also in the physical arena, but also really events and proof of attendance, POAPs at these events. Whereas, attending something, we never saw it as something that was of any value or recordable or something special, but even just attending it somewhere is now considered quite valuable. And so it's this uniqueness, scarcity, and value that makes the NFT so valuable. And then we see the metaverse, and NFTs really playing with the metaverse to sell those goods and services, and having now a forum or a place to really experience NFTs and digital assets in a new way in these virtual lands that are blockchain based. And so this is really going to be impacting every industry: gaming, commerce, art, media, advertising, social networking, and so on. But then with that comes the idea of protecting your IP in the metaverse, because as you enter the metaverse now, you want to understand, how do I protect these, my assets entering it? So, and we're seeing that with brands. We see Gatorade just file some trademarks applications for Gatorade with virtual beverages and products. Sotheby's opened a virtual gallery in Decentraland. McDonald's and Panera Bread have filed trademarks to cover virtual food and beverage products. Nike sells virtual sneakers as sneaker NFTs. And in fact, 7 million people have visited their store in the last 5 months. And it's actually one of the greatest, the brand that's probably made the most money from NFTs. So, we think of it as these, off the beaten path, cartoon-like projects, but that's just not the case. We're seeing brands enter and actually monetizing and seeing the advantages of that. And, we're seeing these projects like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, having commercial rights and giving their purchaser these commercial rights to really monetize and do what they want with the IP. And then there's other creators that would, rather keep their IP and license it. And I think this is an interesting evolving space of seeing how IP is being used and how IP is being given away to any purchaser. And how can that really be dangerous at the same time? Because if I own the merchandising rights and the commercial rights to Bored Ape, but so do you, well then, how does the consumer know what's authentic? And doesn't that create like more competition? And isn't the idea of having IP is having that competitive edge? So there's a lot of questions that are being raised. And I'm just really breezing and skimming really fast through this presentation because I want to cover everything. But these are some of the IP business models that we're seeing. The digital assets aspect of it and being able to monetize it, whereas you could never monetize a JPEG before, even an MP4 in a secure way. We're seeing the ability to do licensing with smart contracts. And I think that's going to give a lot of creators more assurance and confirmation of being able to license their IP by having it done with a smart contract and having a computer enforce those terms, which is exciting. And just like with royalties and resale royalties, it's so difficult to track. You have to hire companies to just track, your different royalties and the different terms, the different conditions attached to each one. But once again, being attached to a smart contract, it makes an IP owner, feel more confident on how to license and get their royalties back. We're seeing now creating a virtual asset of the physical asset and being able to monetize these other versions of something that was already created out in the real world. So whether it's a phygital, which is a combination of physical and virtual, or just straight on digital or virtual, it's another way of monetizing something that we never really saw before. And just selling in the metaverse, like, yes, you can go to the mall and go shopping, but now it's just as easy to hop into the metaverse, order even a McDonald's virtual beverage and maybe have it delivered right to you as well. So, seeing that kind of experience. I talked about IP protection, but, derivative content arising from one property, like let's say an artwork, and then that extending into books, movie, and merchandise. It's a lot more easier to do that with on the blockchain. So, there's a lot of benefits to content creators and how they can monetize. So they can sell excerpts of their project or their film or their book or their whatever the case may be as an NFT. And so generate these additional revenue streams. And you can leverage that in art, music, and fashion. You can fund your project or film with NFTs, NFT merchandise. So, you create an artwork or a film, and we do that now with, having t-shirts related to it, but, releasing it as an NFT just has more value. And it's easier to have distribution rights on that. There's ticketing, there's building community and fandom, and then there's experiences. And then there's the bundling of all these things, which I've never seen to this level before with IP. So it's taking something, and you're not just selling that one thing. You're not just selling that physical good, the physical sneaker. You can sell the digital version. You can sell an experience to meet a celebrity with it, and you get access to a community club that only the buyers get. So it's creating more of just, I'm getting one thing. I'm now getting all these touch points and experiences in other ways. And these are all, additional revenue streams and additional ways for creators to make money. And so this is a slide that I really wanted to get to because I think it's so powerful when we talk about NFTs and IP and what Yuga Labs has really done with their brand, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which literally it started off as artwork, and now it's become, including a membership in a private club, but now it's extended into fashion, music, food, beverages, physical goods, community, toys, podcasts, education, studios, a talent agency, and the list goes on. This is their whole IP ecosystem, how they took one brand and, one aspect of their brand and, just monetized it in so many ways in different industries. So, when you're looking at your NFT, it's not just the primary sale, but now you're getting revenue from the secondary sale. Now you're getting revenue from the licensing of it. And now with the derivative content and all recorded, on the blockchain. So this is my platform and Artcryption, and this is, we're really looking at, this very thing and making it easier for creators to do that. I wanted to also point out this project, which I'm sure you've heard of as well, the World of Women NFTs. This is another example of taking one IP and really extending it into different monetization streams. And so this started again as just a project of different artwork of women, and now is turning into a film and movie series. Reese Witherspoon's production studio is purchased the rights and converting it to movie and TV series. Someone else, Gyoseri, is now representing it in media and product deals. The NFT holders have a say in the creation of future products. So once again, taking something that's just one, medium or one copyright, category, and now really extending that. And we've seen the same thing with CryptoPunks, which at the very beginning, just started off with these computer algorithmic characters that were unique. And now they've been signed on with United Talent Agency, a Hollywood talent agency, to really take their IP into film, TV, video games, and beyond. And here's just some other examples. So that's pretty much about it, because I wanted to keep this short and within my 15 minutes. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know.
Thank you, Vandana. Yeah, it's fascinating because there are so many different types of the IP, right? You can monetize through the NFT. So I think this is actually the future of the monetization through the NFT, right? So, but we are not much explore fully about whole type of this IP, right? So I think that it's time to think about how monetize your underlying IP based on your NFTs. So yeah, it's fascinating presentation, and you cover whole aspect of the IP. Thank you very much for this clear presentation.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So anyone has some question? You can keep going on.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Vandana. So thank you for the presentation. It was great. I was just curious to know, like, in terms of like the industry of NFT evolving so much, how far along are like other like law firms basically coming within that level of basically, you can go to a law firm and discuss NFTs in great details, or like would it be that a lot of law firms are not caught up to it yet, or like where do you see like the timeline of it being aligned with like the NFT community?
I think on the legal side, law firms are, very much up on it, especially the big law firms, because they've already been involved with the securities aspects, and blockchain has been around for a while. And, we've seen different legal issues kind of take the limelight when it comes to blockchain. And right now it is the NFT space. I don't think they see it so much in, this whole use case part of it, and, thought of it in the IP monetization sense in the same depth way. I think they're more concerned about, protection of IP, or, looking at, NFTs from a legal and regulatory perspective, like whether it does cross over into securities law or not, or whether there's AML, or whether, issues around privacy and data protection, and, different like types of legal issues that may touch upon. But but I think they're going to start seeing it, and how they're going to start seeing it is the clients are going to bring it to them, because clients are looking at what's happening in the space and seeing other projects doing XYZ, and they want to do XYZ. So I think we're going to start seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because I'm also have a next webinar topic is actually I have a common idea that this kind of the IP can be a pool in the asset-backed securitization monetization you may know about in the well-known in legal domain. And then I'm going to make this as a IP as a pool, and then securitization, and then in the financing space to make this security as like investing vehicle or something like that. So that'll be my next webinar topic. We can touch in detail, and mostly legal domain is very important. So I'm going to invite you again, Vandina, because you have a very expertise. So we will be discussing more deeper level in the next webinar. Thank you. So next will be you. Yeah, Famid, you are the next turn. So you can have your session.
Sure. Thank you, Alex, for inviting me to this webinar. Hey, everyone. My name is Famid. I'm the founder of a company called X6 Corp Inc. We are a blockchain service provider, and we're also working in our own in-house project called Merch, which is a physical plus digital marketplace for NFTs and physical goods. Something that Nova touched on pretty well before as well, and so did Alex. So I'm just going to share my screen and just want to quickly talk over a few things. Okay, yeah, I believe everyone can see my screen. So, starting with NFTs in the world of digital goods or like physical goods or just like digital wearables and stuff, the way I see it is basically a lot of the new projects and a lot of different new sort of like industries are being built where it's like people already from like a long time back have their own avatars online. They have their own characters and they change their clothing or change the different aspects of it. For example, Fortnite is a good one where you can buy different skins, you have that umbrella, and then you can go into the world of Fortnite and then play with your friends, do a lot of exploring, just building and just playing your normal Call of Duty type game. But there's also one other aspect of Fortnite, which is that you can participate in concerts there. So a couple of months ago, there was a Travis Scott concert where a lot of people were just visiting the Fortnite world just to see like the event, and then there was music, there was a lot of random things happening, and then you could see other players as well. And that was sort of one of the first times that I noticed, which is like you could really see other people's skins up close and without any stress, basically, because in the normal game you're always in that pressure of getting away from your enemy or something like that. But with the concert, it's more like you're trying to have fun and just like network with other people, even though if it's like a closed communication. But it's like you could go in front of a person and then like see their username, see their avatar, and there's like just do different emotes and like different dances in front of them. So I think like that's a great kind of root of how the world of digital wearables kind of came into play, where it's like people, we know from like a long time back, people love kind of customizing their online presence in whatever form. Recently, with NFTs and the rise of NFTs and the technology itself, there's a new kind of mega industry which is forming, which is digital goods, that we touched on in this webinar pretty quite a lot. Digital is basically physical and digital like wearable, which is, for example, this t-shirt, the shirt that I'm wearing, there's no way to connect this with anything online, except maybe ordering this from online in my email receipt. But that's very irrelevant, or like not even on the same line as what it is possible with kind of indulging this into like the digital world. So for example, CloneX is a great project where they have this vision of combining the real world with the digital world, where they introduce their collections that go beyond just digital wearable. So for example, CloneX, they recently introduced this one project called Artifact introduced this recent project called CloneX. Artifact is a Web3 project. It's a Web3 company owned by Nike. Nike purchased it couple of months ago, maybe more than a year ago. But ever since then, Nike's been working a lot on Artifact to introduce new digital experiences and products now to different people. With CloneX, one of the great thing is like this NFT collection that they launched NFTs of, let's say, like shirts, t-shirts, socks, hats, and just sweats, and all the different kinds of things that you know, it might not seem like a lot, like a big thing, but inside of it, I believe they have a lot of different technology where like a hoodie, for example, has an NFC chip. NFC chips are basically chips that you can, you know, how your phone payment works when you basically take it close to like a POS system and then it pays. Your phone has an NFC system that kind of delivers that communication to the other tech object. So that NFC technology is now being embedded within these t-shirts and hoodies and stuff, so that people can actually prove their ownership of that hoodie. What I mean by that is basically this specific, let's say this Murakami drip t-shirt, you can actually buy this NFT and then have it delivered to you in person. So you have a physical t-shirt exactly like this, and also your digital wearable that you can probably use in the future in different decentralized worlds, such as Decentraland or Sandbox or something. And you also have this in your physical presence. You can wear it, you can go to it, and at one point you can probably scan your NFC that is embedded within this physical t-shirt and prove ownership of this NFT. So that gives rise to a whole new world where, like, you can actually, for example, go to a concert, let's say held by Artifact, and then all you need to do to get into that concert is scan your NFC within that t-shirt to prove that you are a CloneX holder. And it's all kind of secured by the blockchain technology. So this is like a really great thing that's really like at the root of it right now, where like we haven't seen anything. This is just the proof of concept, in my opinion. So there's a lot more that comes with it. And Artifact CloneX is a great project that you know, is proving that concept. You can go and like check out their website to this. I'm not associated with Artifact in any way, but I love this project because being in the space of digital fashion, I feel like they're one of the leaders where they're setting an example of how it should be done. Plus, it's backed by Nike, which I believe is a huge factor on how they're doing these things right. One of the other things that I personally am working on, it's merch. So right now, what we're trying to do is something like Artifact CloneX, where I personally have a family business for like 25 years manufacturing clothing. So I'm trying to combine that with CloneX's technology of like embedding NFC and then proving ownership with NFT. So I think like that's a great project that I'm personally working on, that I think a lot of people would love, because it's so close to Artifact and CloneX and the phygital market, and where it's going in the future, and the amount of like potential that there is. So I personally love this. That's why I decided to, you know, like talk on this topic of phygital goods. And I think a lot of people will have a lot of creativity and like thinking what to do with it and the future of it, and just like a lot of different things. It's just that the potential right now is endless. We haven't even thought of what phygital goods can do, except give you access to digital and physical exclusive content, and you know, get it access to things. One of the example is, let's say that right now with the NFT technology, how it is, we can get access to all the different things I just said, but NFT itself, it's evolving, where there's basically experimentation on different types of NFT, where you can subscribe to an NFT, so you can pay monthly or something by holding an NFT, and a lot of different technology that is not here yet. And once you combine that NFT with your phygital good, and the NFT itself evolves into like, let's say, subscription-based model, and then like a lot of different things embedded within that NFT technology, your physical good is just going to like skyrocket in value, because the NFT itself is evolving. So that's a great like mega industry that's being built right now, that I think like a lot of people are really not seeing directly, but it is there, and it will be, in my opinion, very mainstream in a couple of years, and we'll basically become very used to it, and expect every wearable that we have to be part of like a digital system, digital ecosystem, where it has NFC, and then we can use it to kind of get access to different places, different content, and a lot of different things. In contrary to Artifact and basically this whole ecosystem of digital goods and the access it gives, I want to get on kind of like a NFT by Tiffany & Co. And personally, I am not a big fan of this, maybe because I don't know of it much, or you know, like it's just not for me as an audience. But with Tiffany & Co. and a lot of different other companies trying to get into the NFT train, they're trying to make a phygital kind of their own phygital thing, where like they saw the success that Artifact had with their own phygital projects, and they wanted to get on that same boat. But the only thing that they did at this point, to my best knowledge, is you know, release that NFT collection. And for some of the projects, a little bit of aspect of the phygital side, where you have a bag, let's say, and that's connected with your NFT. But that's basically it. And they're not really building on top of other experiences with your phygital good and with your digital wearable, and just like kind of improving upon like what is potential there. As opposed to CloneX, Artifact, they're just constantly making this entire universe, entire metaverse, where you can connect your digital drip with your NFTs and a lot of different things. So that's one thing to keep in mind in terms of takeaway, basically, is that I really want people to look at NFT projects, phygital NFT projects, as like the potential that there is, and not just the hype over it. Obviously, if Tiffany & Co., Gucci, or they all release an NFT collection, it's going to be popular. But in terms of what they're doing to build on it and the future with it, the potential of it, I think that's something that we really have to keep in mind, because it's not just another shoe or a bag that has, you know, like maybe your NFT connected. It's more of like the access that it can give because it is connected, and because of the upgrades that are constantly being built on top of that NFT technology. That having said that, that's all for me. You know, I'll just you know, finish it up with linking my LinkedIn to people if you'd love to connect with me, and I'm just ready to take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Amit. I think that the phygital is unique in fashion, actually, that shows something that the future metaverse space should go, because the metaverse is a convergence of the physical and digital space, right? And then in some way, actually, that they mixed, and we cannot recognize whether it's a digital or the physical, right? The phygital is exactly the one example that the mix with the digital and the physical, and then it's that they share the value, right? So I think that this is a fantastic area that we need to explore more. Yeah, we can look at it more deeper level, but we don't have any more time, so maybe we can discuss further in next webinar. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then if anyone can have a question, you can keep going on chat. Okay, next is Mario. So Matteo, we'll talk about very important topic, interoperable NFTs. It is very important. And then especially with the generation G is new consumers, like buying power, next generation buying power consumers. So let's hear from his what can be applied to gaming and fashion. It's up to you, right?
Sure. Thank you, Alex. It's such a pleasure being here, guys. And thank you for the opportunity to speak at this amazing webinar. So my name is Matteo. A couple of words about me. I'm Italian, as you could hear, and I've been living in the United States for the past 10 years. I'm doing back and forth now between Miami, Tuscany, and Dubai. So I always been a startupper, and I started, helped, and created more than 12 startups during my entire life. And I switched from casino management to fashion, up until advertising, and now I try to merge all of that into a Web3 project called Zappy, and I will get to that. So I think you know, right now the what I'm going to do, I will put on some slides. These slides are from some of our documents, so I don't want it to feel like a pitch, but I'm just trying to, you know, make you understand better the challenges that we faced in order to reach the final product that is Zappi now, and how that can be applied to all the other startups and projects that are trying to reach Gen Z, and especially this kind of the brand new, they're a total brand new audience for most of the brands, right? But a lot of brands are moving towards them. So I'll try to make it as less pitch as possible and as more of a webinar as possible. So let me know if you see my screen. There you go. I think you do. Okay. So so basically the problem that we're facing, which is not just interoperability and Gen Z, but is all applied to, as I said, fashion, gaming, but also data. So data right now is something that is very, very important. And I think it's the topic of the decade, right? So how to manage our data, how to own our data, how to make sure that we're that we're getting a profit out of our data, because as we know, our data is collected online, right, by the big players, and what they're doing, they're selling our data for a profit, but they're not giving us a share of that, right? So this is what's going on in the data sharing world. So our question was how to make use the blockchain technology to actually being able not only to make people own their data, but also sell their data. So how to make them earn by owning their data and selling their data. And for that also, when I say data, it's not just opinion on something, but it's also fashion related. And I will get to that because we have an entire part of the app and a feature of the app dedicated to fashion. So basically, how do we make that voluntary, profitable, and entertaining? So first of all, let me say a couple of words on Gen Z. So Gen Z is always been they've always been underestimated, because I mean, if we're talking about Generation Z, which is between 1997 and 2012, we're talking about 1/3 of its global population, which is kind of a lot of people. So I mean, the spending power of the Generation Z in the US alone is $150 billion. So if you compare that to what the spending power of the parents are, is, I mean, if you're talking about $4,500 monthly spent on average by families on each one of them, we understand the power that Gen Z has, right? And that's the reason why now most of the big brands are going in that direction. So as we all know, the most used app right now is TikTok, together with Twitch. We got Roblox, of course, we got Snapchat, with Spotify. But the most important thing is the adoption that they have towards technology and towards blockchain, especially because they're very used to learn about technology. They're not shocked like most of us were, or like even like if I talk about every single time I try to explain to my grandma what blockchain is, she's like, okay, no way. But because they're not used to that, right? So Gen Z is pretty used to that. It's pretty quick into learning that. And that's why most of our researchers show that they're most likely to use neobanks and cryptocurrency apps other than regular traditional apps, right? So that's very important. I mean, that's the reason why we wanted to find a way to be attractive to Gen Z. Why is it important? I mean, why are the other companies, why are most of the companies struggling with that? Because it says here, they're boring. Okay, so most of them are boring. If you think about like one of our indirect competitor, for example, is Brave browser, right? They're not direct competitors because they're not doing what we're doing, but they're doing something, in that direction. But they're boring, right? You don't really enjoy using Brave browser because you're having fun. You're using Brave browser because it rewards you while you're doing something that you would have done anyway, right? But the way we're approaching it is by making the entire app gamified. So first of all, a couple of words on the values that we think are crucial when we target Gen Z. So the first one is education. They're incredibly addicted to education. They want to learn. It's incredible because I mean, I remember myself. I didn't want to learn anything when I was young, but they want to learn, and especially if there is a word called learn to earn, which is actually rewarding them to learn. So that's why we included the learn to earn aspect into our app as well. So we're teaching them what their data sharing rights are, what blockchain is, what cryptocurrencies are, and we're rewarding them for that, right? So the learn to earn component is very, very important. And basically what we're doing, we're making sure that everyone wins in the equation. That's also something that is very important when you build a startup and you want to target Gen Z. You have to make sure that everyone wins, and you disclaim that. You're telling, hey, you know what? Brands are receiving a spontaneous data, the cleanest data, but you're getting, your share of that, right? So everybody wins. So they make sure and they know that they are winning, but you are fair because you are fair to them as you are with the brands. So and safety. Everything has to be very, very safe. For example, we created Zappy Parents, which is another app that will be used by parents. So parents can actually, take a look at what their kids are. Of course, we're talking about minors here. So what their kids are doing with, with the app, and they can set limits to that. And that's very important. That's very important because if we're talking about minors, there's always this safety issue, no? I mean, we always know that, and parents always are very, very worried about what happens when young users use some certain kind of apps. So, talking about just a couple of words on what Zappy is, otherwise it gets a little confusing. So basically, there's 5 different ways to earn in the app. And the first one is the watch to earn. So basically, you can choose to watch video content from brands, from your favorite brands or your favorite influencers. You watch the video and you earn our token. And then there is a share to earn as well, where you can share your preferences on your favorite brands and you earn by doing that. So, but only if you want to. I always make the example with Gucci, right? So let's say you like Gucci and Gucci is your favorite brand. Your avatar asks you, what color would you like to see on Gucci shoes? So if Gucci is your favorite brand, this kind of answer will come from your heart, right? This is a zero-party data, and it is the most valuable data ever. And Gucci is willing to pay gold for this data, but only if you want to, though, because the last question is, would you like to share your preferences with Gucci for 2,000 coins? Because if you don't want to share, we're not going to sell it. If you want to share your data, we're selling the data to Gucci, and we split the profit with you. So let's get to the NFTs. Why are the NFTs important? Because first of all, this kind of data is embedded in an NFT. And this is one way that we're using NFTs for that. The other way is with the avatar. So the avatar system, we partnered with Ready Player Dummy. I'm sure you all know him. you all know that. So together with them, we're creating our avatar system, and every single accessory of the avatar, every single one, will be an NFT. So users will be able to buy our NFTs, or they can buy brands NFTs. Why is this good for Gen Z? Why do they care? I mean, that's the biggest question. Why do they care about this? They care about this because of the status that creates. So right now, if you go, if you go on the street with a Gucci bag, right? Everyone sees that you have a Gucci bag, and that's important for status, because Gucci bag isn't worth the money that it costs, but it's worth the brand that brings with it, right? So the awareness that brings with it. So same thing will happen in the metaverse. So we're partnering with Ready Player Dummy because of its interoperability, which is the most important thing ever. We had meetings with so many avatar companies you couldn't even imagine, like probably 20 avatar companies so far. But none of them, even if they had better graphics, some of them, they look like real people. I was like, It's impossible. But none of them had the interoperability that Ready Player Dummy has. And that's crucial for us, because if you have to stay close in a single ecosystem, you won't get anywhere. The metaverse is about interoperability. It's about exporting yourself as an avatar everywhere, right? So we want to make sure that if you buy a Gucci bag in Zappi, you will be able to bring that Gucci bag everywhere. And the only way we're doing that now is through Ready Player Dummy, because they do have this kind of interoperability. So it's that's why interoperability is crucial, and not a lot of companies are focusing on that. And I think it's a huge mistake, and that will the companies that will succeed in the future, in the next future, are the ones that are focusing on interoperability, on every single aspect of their business. And of course, creativity is also very important for that, because if you think about the NFTs that they can buy, I mean, we can make a few, brands can make a few, but also we wanted to give the Gen Z is all about self-expression, right? So they want to be unique. They want to show that they're different from the others. They want this which is something that we as millennials, we did not have. Like, we wanted to be I remember when I was a kid, we always wanted to be to have the same shoes that the other ones had. But for Gen Z, this is changing. So they want to be unique. How? In this case, we managed to create an editor. So we're gonna have an NFT editor, so users will be able to create their own accessories in the app, and they can export it. They can mint them because they're NFTs, and they can export them and sell them to other players through our marketplace or secondary marketplace. So this gives Gen Z the kind of uniqueness they're looking for. And also, we're partnering with an AI system, which is crazy. It's called Kaiden, that gives us and gives the users the ability to transform every single picture or a sketch or a drawing into a 3D model. So that means that everything they do in the app, even if they take a picture of of a watch they've drawn on a piece of paper, they can transform that into a 3D model that becomes an accessory for their avatar. And that's something that is pretty unique and gives them this kind of uniqueness they're looking for, right? So what they can also do, which is something pretty, that gives them this self-awareness, is the fact that they can create their own store, right? Which is very, very important. They can create their own store, and they can advertise their store on our app as they were a brand, right? So as you can see here, there's Frenchy Love that created a bunch of accessories, and now Frenchy can advertise themselves among all the other projects that can advertise on Zappi. So I think this kind of interoperability is what is needed in the space. And most of the avatar companies are not trying to do that. And I think fashion will need that if we want to if we want it to be as expanded as we think it will be. I think fashion will have to focus on that. Avatar companies will have to focus on that, and we will need like a big council that will be able to agglomerate all of these projects and make sure that every single aspect of a single project will be interoperable with the other ones. So yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say a couple of words on this. If you have any question, just feel free to ask me or add me on LinkedIn, whatever. It was such a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Matteo. I think that the including data as represented by the NFT is very unique, because that our second speaker, Norbert, actually her Astro project is actually not directly make data as a part of the NFT, but her work was to like inspired by the data usually the data like patterns and then data like a visualization included in the fashion design. But I think that you are the first one I have seen that the data itself as a part of the NFT. I think it is very fantastic, right? Because I like that, because you know that there is a ocean. Do you know about the Ocean Protocol? Ocean Protocol is a data exchange, right? But I think that I think that you are the one of the like unique way actually the like monetize data using your concept. So I really like that. And another thing that I have some comment about, because yesterday I have a talk with the founder of A-Form. He's a Korean born and he is based in New York now. But what he developed is for the Metaverse fashion interoperability. So what they are planning now is to like whenever you have like a 3D or 2D or like a wearable fashion, and then load into his service, it automatically convert to the whatever you want to use in some Metaverse like platform. So for example, you mentioned with the Gucci, like whatever the wearable fashion you wear it, and then you wanna wear in like some specific like a Metaverse, and then that has a like automatic convert to you can wear it in other platforms. So yeah, it's now working on it. It's a very, very hot topic. So thank you very much. Okay, so next will be the Gianfranco. Gianfranco is a talk about very, very important topic, because we talk about monetization, but there are leftover a lot of the monetization opportunity, and there are a lot of companies and in the legacy and Web2 to wanna migrate to Web3. So let's hear from his insight about this view.
Hey, what's up, guys? So yeah, this is Gianfranco. Actually, this topic, which is NFT for Web2 legacy to Web3 Metaverse business transition, is gonna be hard to do in 15 minutes, Alex, but because it's a topic for 2 days, you know. So let's get started right away, okay? I'm sharing my screen real quick. I just want to introduce myself, or the people that doesn't know me. My name is Gianfranco. Everybody call me G Lopez. I mean, I'm Italian like Matteo, based in Miami, Florida. I'm the president and co-founder of Metaverse by Dacha. Actually, we are the only, so there's two metaverse, social metaverse in the stock exchange. Meta is one, and the second is us. So we are like the direct competitors of Facebook, which is David versus Goliath, but we're fighting the here. So and I'm gonna talk about that, because here's the thing: who wants Mark Zuckerberg to own the metaverse? That's the first thing, you know. He comes from Web2, and he wants to stay in Web2. And us in smartaverse.com, we're fighting that, you know, because we have to make that transition. We have to make the transition from Web2 to Web3. And what's the difference between Web2 and Web3? It's ownership. And Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to give ownership to no one. And that's why we're fighting that battle. So like right now, I'm giving away free land and free houses in the smartaverse, just to make the metaverse to be more inclusive, more for the people, you know, to just democratize the metaverse. Well, and I'm starting. Just so you know, guys, I'm also I'm the owner of the patent for the ad network platform for the metaverse. So everything started in 2017. Just creating advertisement in the metaverse, because I've come from regular advertising, for advertising Web 1, advertising Web 2, and then I created advertising for Web 3. So I own the patent just to have NFT to be dynamic, which you can change any content anytime you want. Like for example, it's like a television, and you can change the channel anytime you want. We can do that in the metaverse, across all the metaverse at the same time. Okay. So let's talk about NFT and how NFT will impact the metaverse. Just so you know, the metaverse, it will offer companies and individuals the opportunity just to have like a 3D universe, And the NFT will be really an important part of it, because it will be the point or the key just to have transfer those actual services, or it can even be any product from the real to the NFT world. Okay, so users and businesses can invest in NFTs, and you can transfer those assets between the parties. Okay, so it can also help creating community with identify and other social experience with the metaverse. Some elements on the metaverse I will not touch, but probably just half of them. I'm going to talk about Web3 NFT games, which is really important. Web3, for people that doesn't know what the Web3 is actual the key player why the metaverse is going to be successful. Okay, because we're moving from central servers to the centralized network system, and we'll have no centralized or government that will control it. And when I was creating the ad network platform for the metaverse called Venue in 2017, I was just noticing that Facebook, Instagram, and all the key players, let's say if you pay $1,000 in advertisement to them, they use the people as a product, and they show you advertisement. The advertisement will follow you every single way, you know. And I say, how can we break that pattern, you know? And that's when I came up with Venue, and just to let's say the $1,000 come through Venue, which is for the metaverse, it will not stay with us. It will go 80% to the people that interact with those advertisements. So meaning that if you own a land in the metaverse and you own a Venue NFT, you can get paid because people are watching those advertisements in your land, and the same people that are watching those and interacting with those product, which is with the NFT, will get paid for, you know. Because at the end of the day, let's say I will make an example. If Tesla will pay for the new Tesla vehicle they're launching, right? We're putting those vehicles around the metaverse in different places. I can tell Tesla where the people interacted the most with the vehicle, because we have a 3D model. I can tell you, oh, it was the rear trunk, it was the, I don't know, the windows, the whatever. They're gonna interact the most because we're gonna have like a heat map that will tell, I can tell more specific where the people interacted the most, and we have to reward the people to interact with things. So, and you know that Web3 is private, so we don't know who you are. But let's say if you want to get paid, at least give us some information who you are, what you're interested in. So it's like a basic demographic that you can give me, so I can show you things that you want to see. And I promise you that will not follow you in TikTok or Instagram or in Google, you know. So Web2 versus Web3 approach in the metaverse, and this is a really important topic because let's talk about organizational structure. So you know, everything's centrally owned, which in Web3 you have DAOs, and then you have consensus, and then you have more a community govern type of company, you know. So let's talk about payment infrastructures. Instead to get paid in credit card or regular fiat money, you pay with crypto, which is great. So digital asset ownership, which is the most important part thing between those two, is that in Web2, you list within the platform where you purchase. So meaning that you cannot transfer that asset to nowhere. You can just use it there, you know, in regular businesses. But now you can have it as an NFT. So and that is why in Smartaverse in the company that I told you at the beginning, is we're giving away free land, but we're doing this like I don't know if you know about American history, but back in 1800s, when the Midwest was just empty, Abraham Lincoln said, you know what, guys, There's a lot of free land over there. I'm just gonna give you free land, which is the Homestead Act. I'll give you free land. You're gonna work on the land for 5 years, and then that land I'm gonna give you the deed. So we're doing the same thing. So I'm giving away free land in the metaverse, giving away free houses, but you have to work on your houses just to get a deed, which is the deed will be the NFT. So that NFT will be transferable. You can sell it, you can just give it away, you can do whatever you want with your NFT, which is great. And by the way, I'm starting with the city of Miami doing that. So the first word will be the city of Miami in the metaverse. So digital asset portability, same thing I was saying, it's locked in the platform, but it's gonna be transferable in the future. Activities is multiplayer game streaming, which is kind of boring. And in the Web3 is more play to earn games, so you're getting money while you play, you got more experience, and you do the same activities as a Web2. So NFTs, everybody knows what the NFT is. I don't have to cover that. So games, everybody knows what the game is. So cryptocurrency will be the type of currency that will be used in new businesses in the future. So that transfer from Web2 to Web3, we're gonna put fiat and credit card away, and we're gonna start using a cryptocurrency. Could be the CBDC, which is the government. Every single government will have their crypto currency, or you can use any other cryptocurrency like USDT, USDC, Ethereum, or the others. So I'm not gonna talk about AR, VR, MR. So what is the important on the metaverse? So why is important that transition from Web2 to Web3? So in the metaverse, we're gonna open new opportunities for individuals and businesses. So we're level the playing field. So saying that everything that you can do in the real life, you can do in the metaverse. So just start, like, everybody's gonna start from zero. And as you know, guys, like, the biggest metaverse right now is the centralized metaverse is Decentraland, and they only get 800 people per day. So that's nothing. So this is just starting. So it can become a place for entertainment, commerce, workplaces, or even social gathering venues. We've seen that over the years. And the metaverse can be the next phase for the internet, where every type of digital experience can be open, will be in one place, making an efficient for users. So talking about Web2 industry, they're gonna come to the metaverse are finance, gaming, fashion, marketing, art galleries, virtual shows, architecture, entertainment. So using NFTs, it will be how you're gonna have ownership in the metaverse. So as my other colleague talk about clothing, wearables and all that, you can have lands, you can rent it, you can have structures, you can put billboards, you can do whatever you want, and everything gonna be owned in an NFT. And that's it. That's the most important thing, and that's why this topic was like so important, because NFT, it will be the ownership from the Web2 to Web3. So DeFi, I'm gonna talk about DeFi and games. So what's the future like for the metaverse? Well, at the present moment, the metaverse is still far behind. Like I said, only 800 active users in Decentraland, which is the biggest one, making billions of dollars every single year. So giving away the full experience to users, and just to make a point here, Decentraland has 800, but when you go to gaming metaverse like Roblox, you have 50 million users per day. So it's a huge of a difference. So the metaverse has the proper of becoming a second digital world where people will socialize, play games, work, and make income. So and for companies and businesses, there's already, for example, embassies in the metaverse. So if you want to request for a visa to go to a country, you don't have to move yourself to that place. You just have that in the metaverse. There's local governments are talking about created a DMV where you can look for your driver's license in the metaverse. So we're gonna start looking for more services now from businesses in the metaverse. So this is just the starting, guys. And I think, Alex, I think I covered everything in 15 minutes. So you don't yell at me.
Yeah, thank you very much. You cover a lot in 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all aspect of
tried.
the Web3 and metaverse, right? So I really like, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, you can go ahead in the chat, or you can, if it's
All right.
we are almost time to end. So at the end we have like a free discussion and Q&A. So whatever you prefer, then you can go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, so finally we final speaker, Kelvin, are you there? Kelvin? Probably is not. Okay, so the next topic was actually he is going to talk about digital DNA, NFT, and monetization of digital identity in a metaverse. But I think that I'm also have expertise in this field, because digital identity is really important, because usually in the metaverse that you usually join as your avatar. And then in the avatar, actually how you actually can represent you through your identity, and then how can you assure that actually you are the genuine, or you are the genuine owner of your identity is very important, because in the metaverse you will have a lot of, for example, a lot of the monetary transactions. We talk about NFT. And then actually if there is a fake identity, then some way to actually there is a fraud or something like this. So this kind of the identity is very important. And then so it's like he mentioned, like a digital DNA, because digital DNA means your unique identity. You may know about this. If you have some crime, and then if you have like a fingerprint, or the other ways, the most social is like looking at your DNA. It's the same thing. That digital DNA means that is representing your unique identity, cannot be like a changes. So Web3 is very important topic. And then also for example, in the monetization NFT, that what happened that for example, what you actually buy was a fake. Right? For example, that the person actually mint some famous digital artwork, but actually he is not the original owner, any license for that. And then how actually can assure that you actually get the genuine one. So you need some kind of the identity management, and then assure that it's a unique certified one. And then recently I'm working on the same thing, that I'm developing some monetization platform. And then especially the fashion, that actually the way actually you have IP, underlying IP, usually copyright for your digital, what the metaverse fashion is through the creativity. And how you can actually you can assure that you are the original, like a creator of your artwork, your fashion design, whatever. So the identity is very important. And I'm working on the self-sovereign type of decentralized identification system. And then this kind of the decentralized identification system is under standardization by the global standardization bodies. So this was a very important topic. I really looking forward to hear from him about this kind of the digital identity, and then how can they link with the NFT, and then how they can be using the monetization. Unfortunately, he can join today. So I'd like to finish all the session of today's webinar, and then we have option. So you can leave if you want, and then you can leave here, and then you can stay here, and then you can participate. This is not like any specific format. So you can participate as if you are the audience, you have opportunity to speak about what you're doing, or what you're interested in, or you have some specific question to some specific topics. So you can have a question, or if you have any comment, you can participate. Okay, so we'll start this free discussion Q&A now, and then we'll keep going until there no more any question, comment, or the participant. Okay. Who is going to start first? Any volunteer? Oh, a lot of people are shy about.
I have a question.
Oh,
It was
Nova. Yeah, fantastic.
yeah. Hi. It was regarding the AI software. I'm not sure if the speaker's still here, that instantly converts images, 2D images in photography to 3D. And if he's comfortable sharing that resource, that would be great. But my question is, do we feel that's going to continue to grow in terms of a service solution to be able to facilitate the adoption within the metaverse for more companies more easily able to enter into the metaverse with 3D assets?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, Nova. I can send you the link. I actually invested in a company as well, so it's I'll be more than glad to share that that info. But it's actually, you know, I personally think that all of this AI development that we're actually seeing now is going to be a complete revolution, and is going to fit super well with the entire metaverse that we're expect to see. So one of the use case for sure will be that one. I mean, being able to make a 3D object out of a 2D sketch is incredible. But we've seen Mid-Journey, right? We've seen everything that is happening with AI art, and is kind of scary from one standpoint, to be honest. But on the other hand, it's fascinating. So I think what's going on with AI and the progress and the evolution that AI is having in the space will merge and will fit perfectly with with the Web3 evolution. So 100%.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. In addition to that, actually, I also have some expertise in that space. So, in generally, that what kind of things that actually use it converting something in that kind of space is there is a type of generative AI. So generative AI means they can create something, and recently there are a lot of the big tech companies are involving a lot of they call a super giant data set they train, and then this kind of trained AI can generate something. They can generate logo or the music or the art or whatever. And so that is fundamentally changing whatever you have in 2D or 3D and converting to other work is no problem, I think. And then also for example that I mentioned about how you can convert to your wearable fashion in some different the metaverse space is also can be automatically done in using AI. And then also, for example, recently there are a lot of trials, especially in the fashion designers and the fire designers, that the input is your design, and then dynamically they changing your garment, right? You can see, you may have seen that kind of thing. So the technically no problem is and also expertise that kind of involved in developing the kind of generative AI. But the problem that I mentioned is to actually if you, for example, you have a fashion design, and then you convert this fashion design into a derivative work or the different fashion color or the pattern or the something, and then actually who owns IP is the issue, right? Because usually for example in the United States the patent and trademark office or copyright office does not recognize when it's generated by AI. They don't assure that the generated by the creative art from the AI is not the invention or it's not a copyright protected or something like that. So you should be very careful if you want to use as a business, especially if you want mint data right? They kind of like you starting from the original 2D sketch. For in fashion, you have it's possible technically that starting from the designer's original sketch 2D, and then you convert to like a pattern, and then you like making that pattern to like a full garment, and then you can make a 3D, and then you convert to like a wearable fashion can be wear in the metaverse. You can do that in technology, but if you want to mint each part of it as NFT, you should have very careful, right? Whether you really have owned that right? So that's also I very have a focused interest in, and then that's one you need to really care about whatever you generate through the AI, and then if you want that generate work through the mint into the NFT, then underlying light what it really you have.
So that's really interesting, Alex. So you're saying that when it goes, the designer owns the original sketch, but the company that's converting it to the 3D owns the IP on the 3D?
Mm-hmm.
Or
that's
that
very
has
important.
to be...
Yeah, you are the designer. I know that the Nova, you are the designer, right? You have
right.
you are the fascinating like a 2D sketch. And then you don't have any expertise you want to convert in 2D or 3D design, like a cross 3D or whatever. You don't have any expertise there. And then you ask someone to convert it 3D. Who owns your IP? The guy, legally. So you need to be very careful, right? So
it's actually a great point, you know. that is a great point. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we should go into a direction where we have something like that already, you know, established, right? I think right now is more of an interpretation, or at least, you know, if you don't disclaim that, of course we do have a rule to follow, but you know, I think it has to be disclosed at first, you know, before applying to any of these kind of services. But I mean, it's definitely a great point. Totally agree with you.
Yeah, and then
and now I was just going to say it's a great point of discussion, because part of the growth of this space is about ownership and empowering the creator and the creative. So if we move back to where we are now, where the tech company owns and is able to monetize at, you know, an exponential number over and beyond the creative, we're negating why we're doing this. I shouldn't say why we're doing this, but one of the reasons why the space is growing so quickly. So I do think there should be a balance there, but it's really interesting. I mean, we're super early, but it's something to think about as the artist, as the creator. It's still your original idea. It's now just being reinterpreted into a different form, should you not have the right to the original idea. But it's interesting.
Yeah, you know, like you know that why we talk about Web3, right? Is each creator wants their self-sovereignty over their creativity work, right? So we are the individual creator will be the govern all thing, right? And then even the sharing of the value, right? It's a Web2 is a data governed by the company like a Meta or the Facebook or something that the governing in the central governing bodies and own everything, right? And then you share they only small fraction to the creator. But we want to go to Web3 is we want to be liberate the situation, right? But in reality, that we should be very careful. Even some company I know that you may know about fashion. There is a lot of the fashion digitalization house like Fabricon or these dress access something like that. But you should be careful that you use that platform, and then you want to convert your original design through their platform. Actually, you should be careful who owns that IP, right? You should be careful about terms and the contract. Usually the smart contract has that terms, but as far as I know that if you mint NFT through the Fabricon own the IP, right? Not many people understand the situation very complex. Just say that, oh, we have a Web3 and then fashion designers liberate, and then we can monetize here and you can easily mint whatever. But on the background, there is a lot of loopholes. We should take care of it.
Can the rights?
Yeah, I agree. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, just a quick question. Can the rights be retained by the original owner if that's governed in the smart contract properly?
Oh yeah. You can specifically terms that who owns actually the like some of the IP or whatever the property ownership through the smart contract. But you should be having in mind that smart contract is not legally recognized in the court. Usually the whatever something the admitted in the legally, you should be recognized in the court. And still we are experimenting that where you have agreement in through the smart contract, whether it be if there is a dispute about your contract and then you go to court and then you don't know yet, actually the court judges will be how they determine where they are not, you know that I'm a technical guy, right? I'm a PhD in technology, but I also went to law school. And then I surprised that in the law school that is a lot of things actually that we assume that is as a natural and as it is in the technical space actually is not recognized in the legal domain. So we should be very careful about that. Another thing that you maybe a lot of people don't know about is that, for example, that you have an NFT and that you can sell in the secondary market, right? And then you can think about that you have I want to transfer my own ownership. For example, you may BYCA, like they have some licensing agreement to like a CC0. The CC0 means is a community interest in copyright law, means that you want to turn all your like copyright right to the general public. It's often so that means that you can do anything you want. But in reality is that even if they specify in their smart contract, but in the legally, that if you want to transfer ownership, actually the both party can sign in the written form, right? But how you can sign the smart contract, right, is a subtle point. So usually that why I insist about IP licensing is that licensing is much more generous. So they can be like a verbally agree or whatever they admit in the court. But if you really want to transfer ownership something legally, you need to sign. That's why I talk about identity is very important, right? Because a sign means that you are the genuine person to the party of the buying and selling, right? And if you go in the metaverse, you have have an ownership transfer through your metaverse, and then your avatar did something, right? And then whether it is a genuine contract or not, yeah. So there is a lot of things actually that we just think of, oh, fascinating metaverse, we can do these things, avatar doing things, but in legal matter, this is a real world, right? Because in the something happened actually that will be judged by the legal world, right? So this is the one we have in mind then. Is there any topic or anything that we can discuss a lot of things. Very fantastic thing is especially for the NFT and Metaverse and Web3, right?
That was a very good point that sort of like opens up a new whole can of worms.
Mm-hmm. Any question or comment?
I don't know if Tony wants to say something because it has the hands up.
Oh, okay. Here is one. Tony, do you have any question? You raise a hand. Tony, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
And see me? You know, going back to what Matt was talking about, Mateo, excuse me, great presentation with Generation Z. If you want to teach somebody something, or if you want to learn something, make a game out of it. And that's one thing Gen Z does a lot of. And I think about what Gianfranco was talking about with what they call it back in the day, squatters' rights. You know, you live there 10 years, you own the land, right? But when I did gold dredging here in the Prescott Bradshaw Mountains of Arizona, we had to do $150 improvements on the claim every year to award it. And here I am today. I got into this game called Board Kings. You know, give me some rolls. I don't know if anyone knows Board Kings very well, but you jump around this board and you're improving and upgrading your buildings constantly. And it's, you know, you look at the blocks, right? The building blocks, it's about the blocks, it's about the rolls with Board King. All this comes together in teaching us, shaping us for this 3D, VR, you know, MVR and NAI, if you want to call it, Metaverse, artificial intelligence and virtual reality world we're entering. 100 million people, avatars, that's just outrageous. The growth opportunity with the data, with the wearables, with just selling stuff. And, you know, I came up with one metaverse idea, and I've got 2, 3. You know, I think the whole country of Africa should go metaverse with the diversity, most diverse continent in the whole world. It would show a lot of unity. My man over there in Sudan, I think this is something, I don't know if you're familiar with the Africa Tech Festival, but Google Africa, there's a lot of opportunity all around the world. And that's what I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we have discussed a lot, but I will give you one more chance. That is anyone to speak out? Okay, so as I mentioned, that actually this will be the like a building block. We can go more like advanced NFT monetization. And then I learn a lot from your speakers and then participate. I look at all the questions and it is very nice. So I think that you also learn a lot. And then I'm going to go over in the next webinar, we are going to more in the deep dive into more deeper level at actually how you can handle like NFT IP, and then actually how you can construct in the smart contract to take care of liability. And then actually how you can monetize actually through like a pooling, securitization, how can utilize like DeFi or something like that. So I hope you join in my next webinar. And then I will share today's recording, and then also like the future webinar. And then I hope to see you again in my webinar. And if you have any further question or the comment, I wanna like call it up today. Okay, thank you very much to attend.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Thanks, Alex. Great job.
Take care. Bye-bye.